How did one stupid sneeze under my skirt end with a process server finding me in my office lobby? Why did my husband stay calm for weeks, then hit me with papers that changed our home, our money, and the kids' schedule in one day? What did he collect while I was busy calling him controlling in public? My name is Ismene Carroway, but most people called me Izzy. I worked as a project coordinator at a marketing firm downtown. I like to say I carried the whole place on my back. I liked the way people looked at me when I walked through the office, in a long skirt and heels, like I belonged there. My husband, Ethan Caldwell, did not belong there. That was how I told myself the story. He worked in IT security and talked like everything had a rule. He loved calm routines. He loved being early. He loved facts. I loved results. I still think results mattered more. That afternoon, I told him I would be late because of deadlines. I said the clients were hard and the team needed me. He asked if I wanted him to pick up dinner. I said I had it handled. It was not even a lie, not in my mind, because I knew Damian would order something. Damian Rourke was my boss. He was older, confident, and always busy, which meant he could do what he wanted and still look important. He told me I was the only person who could keep projects from breaking. He said the team moved because I pushed it. When he said things like that, my chest felt warm. I told myself it was professional respect. I told myself I earned it. We stayed late. The office lights were dim, and most desks were empty. It felt like a private world. Damian stood near my screen, too close. He pointed at a slide and asked why the numbers did not match. I explained the change. He leaned in like he needed to hear better, even though the room was silent. He asked if I was still holding up with everything at home. I said home was fine, but it was heavy. He said a woman like me deserves support. I checked my phone. I saw Ethan's name on the screen. My stomach tightened. I did not answer right away. Damian watched me like he was waiting for a decision. When I finally picked up, Ethan asked where I was. I said I was still at work. He asked if I wanted him to bring my lunch bag. I forgot in the fridge. I said it was not important. He said he was already nearby because he had to drop something at a shipping store, so he could swing by. I heard the word nearby like a warning. I felt anger before fear. I told myself Ethan did things like this to control me. I told myself he could not stand that I had a life outside him. I told myself I had to shut it down fast. I told Damian Ethan was coming upstairs. Damian's face changed. He asked if I was serious. I said it would be fine if he listened to me. He asked what he was supposed to do. I looked around and saw the supply closet at the end of the hall, the one with printer toner and paper boxes. I said he should hide for 1 minute. Damian said that was crazy. I said it was not crazy, it was smart, and I said Ethan would overreact if he saw him. Damian hesitated. I stepped closer. I said Ethan had been acting jealous and weird. I said I did not want drama at work. Damian asked if my husband was dangerous. I said Ethan was not violent, but he was intense, like a man who needed to be right. I used careful words. I wanted Damian to feel sorry for me. I wanted him to feel like my secret was a burden I carried for both of us. Damian went into the closet. I followed him and pulled the door almost closed. The air smelled like cardboard and dust. I saw an old mop bucket and stacked files. Damian asked where he should stand. I told him to crouch behind the hanging coats someone left there from winter. I heard how wrong it sounded, but I pushed the thought away. My long skirt brushed my legs. Damian looked at it, and then looked at me like he had a joke in his eyes. I hated that I liked the look. I told him to stay low. I told him not to move. I told him not to make any sound. Then I did the worst thing. The thing I later acted like was a small detail. I told him he could tuck behind me if Ethan opened the door. I said my skirt was wide and it could block a view for a second. I told myself it was just a safety plan. I told myself it was not what it looked like. I told myself I was a problem solver, not a liar. I left the closet and walked fast to the elevator lobby. When the elevator opened, Ethan stepped out holding my lunch bag and my jacket. He looked tired. His hair was damp from rain. He asked why I had not answered earlier. I said I was in a meeting. He asked why my voice sounded tight. I said I had a headache. He held the lunch bag out. I took it with one hand like it was a small thing. He asked if I was done for the day. I said I was finishing one last task. He asked if he could wait with me a moment. I said it would be awkward because it was my office, and he did not belong there. He looked past me down the hall. His eyes stopped on the supply closet door. He asked why it was closed when it was usually open. I laughed like it was funny. I said the cleaning staff must have closed it. He asked why the lock was turned. I said it always stuck. Ethan stepped closer to the door. I stepped closer too, like I was only being helpful. He asked if someone was inside. I said nobody was inside. He asked why I sounded sure. I said I could tell because it was quiet. That was when Damian sneezed. It was one sneeze, but it was loud, sharp, and human. It echoed in the hallway. It was like a stamp on the moment, like a label that could not be peeled off. Ethan's face changed. He did not shout. He did not swear. He stared at the door, then stared at me. He asked who was in there. I felt my cheeks heat up, and I did the thing I always did when I felt trapped. I attacked first. I asked why he was doing this. I said he was embarrassing me at work. I said he was acting like a jealous teenager. He asked again who was in the closet. I said it was probably a cleaner. I said the building had people after hours. I said he was making stories in his head. He reached for the handle. I slid in front of him and acted offended. I said it was private space, and he could not just open doors in my workplace. Ethan stopped his hand. He looked down at my hand on the handle. He asked why I was blocking it if it was just a cleaner. I said because I respected rules. He asked if I respected our marriage. I said he was twisting things. And I said a marriage needed trust, not interrogation. I told him he sexualized everything and saw threats everywhere. I used the word sexualized because it sounded serious and clean. It made him look wrong without me proving anything. Ethan held my jacket and lunch bag like he suddenly did not know what to do with them. He asked if I was alone tonight. I said yes. He asked if I wanted him to wait in the lobby downstairs while I finished. I said no because it would look strange. He nodded slowly. As we walked to the elevator, I saw his phone screen light up. A calendar reminder flashed for a second. I caught the words downtown 9:40 a.m. I asked what that was. He turned the phone face down and said it was a personal meeting. I said he never had personal meetings. He said people change. In the elevator, he asked if I wanted to talk at home. I said there was nothing to talk about unless he apologized for showing up. Ethan's jaw tightened, then relaxed again. He said he did not want to fight. He said he wanted clarity. When we reached the lobby, he gave me back my lunch bag like it was heavy. He asked one last time if someone was in the closet. I said no. I said he heard dust and old paper. I said he needed rest. I said he was imagining problems. Ethan did not argue. He did not plead. He just looked at me, long and quiet, like he was saving the picture for later. Then he walked out into the rain and went to his car. I stood there watching him leave, feeling angry that he would not explode the way I wanted. The next morning, I acted like nothing happened. I made coffee and talked to the kids like I was a normal mom with a normal life. I told myself the closet thing was just a stupid office moment. I told myself it did not prove anything. It was one sneeze, not a confession. I still believed I could steer the story. Ethan did not touch me when he walked into the kitchen. He took a clean mug from the cabinet and used it. I noticed my mug was already on the counter, and his was on the other side. It felt childish, but it also felt planned. He asked if I slept well. I said I did. He asked if I wanted to talk about last night. I said there was nothing to talk about because he overreacted. He did not agree with me, but he did not fight. He asked why I blocked the closet door. I said I was following workplace rules. He asked why I lied about it being empty. I said I did not lie. I said I guessed, and I said he should stop pushing me like I was on trial. He asked if there was a man in there. I said he was being gross and suspicious. I used the word gross like it was a shield. I wanted him to feel ashamed for even thinking it. He looked at me for a long time. He asked if I wanted counseling. I said counseling was for couples who both did wrong, and I said he was the one acting insecure. He asked if I could at least agree to stop talking about our marriage in public. I said I would not be silenced. I texted my sister Paige while Ethan took Nora to brush her teeth. I told Paige that Ethan came to my office like a detective and tried to open a closet on me. I added that he was obsessed and sexual. Paige replied with laughing emojis and asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, and I said Ethan was the one who needed help. I also texted Tessa from work. I told her Ethan tried to catch me, and I made it sound like a joke. At work, I walked in like I owned the place. I wore the same type of long skirt, the kind that moved when I walked. I told myself it showed confidence. Damian did not come to my desk right away. He sent a short message asking if we could talk later. That was new. It annoyed me. I told myself he was just being careful, and I told myself that meant he valued his job, not that he valued me less. All day, my mind kept replaying Ethan's face in the hallway. I did not like how quiet he was. I preferred Ethan angry. Angry Ethan was easy. Angry Ethan made people side with me. Quiet Ethan made people listen. At lunch, I opened my phone and wrote a post. I did not use names. I wrote about a partner who checks doors and makes up stories. I wrote that some men could not stand a woman with a career. I wrote that trust should be free. I read it twice and pressed send. I told myself I was speaking my truth. I told myself I was protecting myself. Within minutes, Tessa reacted and wrote that I deserved peace. Paige shared it. My mother, Donna, called me right away. She asked what happened. I said Ethan was acting jealous again. Donna said men like Ethan wanted to clip wings. She said I should not apologize for being wanted. I liked the way she made it sound, like I was the prize, and Ethan was the problem. That evening, Tessa invited me to a rooftop bar. I said I could not stay long because I had kids. She said I needed air. I told Ethan I was meeting friends for one drink. He asked who. I said it did not matter. He asked what time I would be home. I said late. Then I laughed and said I was joking. He did not laugh back. At the bar, the music was loud and the lights were soft. Tessa hugged me and asked if Ethan was still acting up. I said yes, and I rolled my eyes like I was the tired hero of a boring story. Paige came too, and she brought a friend who did not know Ethan well. That friend asked what happened. Tessa told the closet story like it was a comedy bit. She said Ethan thought my boss was hiding under my skirt. She made a face and laughed. I should have stopped it. I did not. I felt powerful. I felt like the whole world was on my side. I said Ethan always saw danger in normal things. I said he had a sick mind. I said I could not even wear a skirt without him turning it into something dirty. I knew what I was doing. I was building a case for myself. I was shaping a crowd. Someone lifted a phone and filmed us. I saw the lens and still kept smiling. I leaned into it. I said Ethan acted like he owned my time. I said he needed to learn respect. I said respect follows results, and I had results. People laughed like I was clever. I told myself laughter meant I was right. When I got home, Ethan was in the living room with the kids' backpacks lined up by the door. The house was quiet. Nora was asleep already. Miles had a toy car in his hand, and his eyes half closed. Ethan asked if I had fun. I said I needed it. He asked if I posted about him online. I said I posted about my feelings, and I said if he felt attacked, it meant he was guilty. He did not raise his voice. He asked me to take the post down because it pulled strangers into our home. I said he was trying to control my voice. He said he was trying to protect the kids. I told him he was using the kids like a shield. He said he was not. He said he would not discuss adult issues in front of them. The next day at school pickup, I saw Ethan talking to another parent. It looked normal, but my chest tightened. I walked up and smiled too wide. I asked Ethan if he was making friends now. He said he was just saying hello. A mom asked if everything was okay at home. Ethan said we were handling family stuff privately. He did not defend himself. He did not accuse me. That made me feel unsafe in a new way. That night, Ethan cooked plain pasta for the kids. He packed their lunches while I scrolled. I saw the bar video was now in a group chat. It was edited shorter, with captions. People laughed at the skirt line. My face looked bright and sure. Ethan's face in my memory looked grey and still. After the kids went to bed, Ethan asked if we could agree on a basic schedule for mornings and pickups. I said we did not need schedules because we were married. He said routines helped kids. I said he was acting like we were separated. He said he was acting like a parent. Later, I walked past the hallway and saw his phone light up on the counter. I saw a missed call that said, "No caller ID." He picked it up fast and stepped outside. I watched through the window as he stood near the driveway, back straight, voice low. When he came back in, he did not tell me who it was. He asked if I could keep communication about the kids in writing, by text, so there were no misunderstandings. I laughed and asked if he was writing a report on me. He said he was trying to reduce conflict. I went to bed angry. I told myself he was planning to punish me. I told myself he wanted to scare me into obedience. I told myself I could still win if I stayed louder than him. But as I lay there, I noticed something small and cold. Ethan did not come to bed. He slept on the couch with a blanket folded like a hotel. And in the morning, his calendar on the kitchen wall had a neat new note I did not recognize. Meeting personal. On Saturday, I planned a dinner with both families. I told myself it was for the kids. I told myself it would calm things down. The real reason was simple. I wanted a room full of witnesses. I wanted Ethan to feel small without me even touching him. I chose a family restaurant with long tables and bright lights. It was the kind of place where people talked loud and servers moved fast. I wore a long skirt again. I told myself I wore it because I liked it. I also liked the way it reminded Ethan of the office hallway, even if I never said it. Ethan arrived on time with Nora and Miles. He held Miles's hand and carried Nora's small backpack. He looked neat and quiet. He did not look like a villain. That bothered me. I needed him to look like a villain. My mother, Donna, hugged me first and asked if I was okay. I said I was fine but tired. She asked if Ethan was still acting strange. I said he was still checking things and asking questions. Donna sighed like she already knew the answer. She said some men could not handle a strong woman. Paige came in with her phone in her hand. She asked if we were all going to be nice. I smiled and said of course. I wanted the word nice to sound like a warning. Ethan's parents arrived next. Ruth hugged the kids and kissed their heads. Calvin shook Ethan's hand and asked how work was. Ethan said work was busy but steady. I noticed Ethan did not look at Donna much. He kept his eyes on the kids and the menu. We sat down. The kids colored on paper placemats. For a few minutes it looked normal. That made me feel impatient. I needed the story to move. Calvin asked how my job was going. I said it was demanding, and I said leadership always came with pressure. Ruth asked if I was sleeping okay. I said I slept fine, and I said I only felt stressed when people questioned me all the time. Ethan asked what I meant. I said I meant constant checking and suspicion. I did not say his name, but I looked at him when I said it. Paige laughed a little. Donna leaned forward like she was ready for the show. Ethan asked if we could not do this at dinner. I said I was not doing anything. I said I was simply answering questions. I said he always tried to control the setting when he felt exposed. I watched his face. I waited for heat. I waited for anger. He did not give it. He asked me to focus on the kids. I said I was focused on the kids. And I said his jealousy made the home tense. I said Nora noticed everything. I said Miles got clingy because of the energy. I used the kids like a mirror to make him feel guilty. It worked a little. His eyes went down for a second. Paige asked in a playful voice if Ethan was still scared of closets. She said he had a wild imagination. She said he thought my boss was hiding under my skirt. The friend she brought laughed too loud. Donna laughed like it was proof of something. Ethan asked Paige to stop. Paige said she was only joking. Ethan asked why it was funny to shame him in front of strangers. Paige shrugged and said he needed to relax. I jumped in fast. I said Ethan always made jokes into attacks. I said he always wanted to be the victim. The friend asked what Ethan did at work. Ethan said he worked in IT security. The friend said that explained a lot. She said men like that always track things. People laughed again. I should have stopped it. I did not. I felt my chest lift with the room. I felt like I had a stage. Ethan asked me directly if I wanted to stay married. I pretended to be shocked. I said he was dramatic. I said he asked big questions to scare me. He said he was not trying to scare me. He said he was trying to understand what was happening. I told him he was imagining betrayal because he felt weak. I said he wanted to own me because he did not feel good enough. Ruth's face tightened. Donna's face stayed proud. Calvin watched like he was counting words. Ruth asked me to speak with respect. I said I was being honest. I said honesty was respect. I said no one told men to be gentle when they accused women. I said I had been patient for years. That was not true, but it sounded strong. Ethan did not argue back. He asked the server for a box for the kids' food. He asked Nora if she wanted to go wash her hands. Nora nodded and got up fast. She did not look at me. That small thing hit me harder than Ethan's questions. In the restroom hallway, Nora asked Ethan if Mommy was mad at him. Ethan said Mommy was stressed, and it was not Nora's job to fix adult feelings. Nora asked if Daddy was leaving. Ethan said Daddy was not going anywhere from her life. He said that calmly. I heard it because I followed them part way, like I was checking, like I was the good parent. Back at the table, the adults kept talking, but the mood shifted. Ruth asked Ethan if he had support. Ethan said he had family, and he had plans for keeping life stable. Donna asked what plans meant. Ethan said it meant routines and calm. He said kids needed calm. Paige tried to bring the joke back. Ethan did not react. He only said he did not want personal issues online. Donna asked if he was talking about my posts. Ethan said yes, and he said the posts pulled strangers into a private home. I said the posts were my feelings. I said feelings were not illegal. Calvin's eyes narrowed at the word illegal, like he noticed it too. When the bill came, Ethan paid his half without a scene. He helped Ruth carry leftovers to the car. He buckled Miles into the seat. He did everything like a man who did not want drama. That made me look like the only storm in the parking lot, even if no one said it. On Monday morning at work, I walked in, ready to keep control. I told myself the dinner proved everyone agreed with me. Then Marcy from HR sent me a message asking if I could talk for a minute. In the hallway near the HR room, Marcy asked about the after-hours access logs. She said there was a review because of a few unusual entries. She asked if someone else used my badge. I said no. She asked if anyone had been with me late recently. I said the team sometimes stayed late. She asked if I felt safe at work. I said yes, but my husband had started showing up without notice. Marcy did not react the way I wanted. She asked if Ethan had threatened anyone. I said no, but I said he was jealous and intense. Marcy nodded and said she would just note what I said. She said she needed to ask because workplace boundaries mattered. When I returned to my desk, Damian walked by and did not smile. He asked if everything was okay. I said HR was being weird. He asked if my husband had come again. I said no. Damian said we needed to be careful. He said the office was not a private place. I told him I knew that. I felt my face burn. I hated that he sounded like he was correcting me. That night at home, I heard a low hum from the office corner where the shredder sat. Ethan stood there with his back to me. He did not hide it. He simply turned it off when he finished. I asked what he was shredding. He said old mail and duplicates. I asked why now. He said he was organizing. On the printer tray, I saw a blank sheet, warm like it had just come out. It smelled like toner. Next to it was a small sticky note that said, "Bring forms." I asked what forms. Ethan said it was for a personal meeting. I asked if it was about me. He said it was about the family. I went upstairs feeling something new. It was not anger. It was fear with a clean edge, like a knife still in its sleeve. I told myself he was trying to scare me. I told myself I would not let him. But when I lay down, I realized I could not remember the last time Ethan raised his voice, and that calm felt worse than shouting. On Wednesday, I took the kids to the playground after school. I told Ethan I could handle pickup. I said I wanted quality time, like I was proving I was the good parent. Ethan asked what time we would be home. I said I did not know. He said the kids needed dinner at a steady time. I said he was turning parenting into a schedule chart. At the playground, Nora ran to the swings. Miles went to the small slide again and again. I sat on a bench and watched other parents. I watched how they talked to each other like small judges, smiling but storing details. A mom named Kendra sat near me. She asked how marriage life was. I laughed in a tired way and said it was hard when a man got insecure. She asked what I meant. I said Ethan kept showing up at my job and asking questions like I was a suspect. I said it made me feel watched. I did not say he was violent, because he was not, but I wanted the word watched to land in her mind. Kendra frowned and said that sounded stressful. I nodded like I was the one surviving something. Ethan arrived 10 minutes later, earlier than he usually did. He walked straight to the kids. He pushed Miles on the swing. He asked Nora about her day. He did not look at me right away. When he finally did, his face was calm and closed. He asked why I told him I would handle pickup if I was going to stay late. I said I was not late. I said I was giving the kids fresh air. He asked if we could keep a consistent plan. I said he was acting like we were separated. He said he was acting like a parent who wanted less chaos. Kendra watched us. I felt her eyes like a spotlight. I leaned into it. I said Ethan always wanted control and checklists. I said he could not just trust me. Ethan did not argue. He asked if we could talk at home, not here. That made him look reasonable. I hated that. On the way to the car, Nora walked between us and held both our hands for a few steps. Then she let go of mine and held Ethan's hand with both of hers. She did not do it to hurt me. She did it because he felt steady. That was the problem. A child could feel what a crowd could not. At home, Ethan cooked simple food and packed the kids' lunches. I sat on the couch and scrolled. I told myself I deserved rest. Ethan asked if I could stop posting about our marriage. I said I posted about my life, and I said he wanted to erase my voice. He said he wanted to protect the kids from strangers' opinions. I said he was using the kids to control me. He did not raise his voice. He asked if we could agree that adult conflicts stayed off social media. I said if he behaved better, I would not need to vent. He looked at me like he was measuring my words, not reacting to them. The next day, I went to the supermarket after work. I brought Miles with me because he begged to come. He sat in the cart seat and kicked his shoes lightly. At the checkout line, my phone buzzed with a message from Damian. He asked if I could meet for a quick talk near the co-working cafe across from our building. I told myself it was work. I told myself it was professional. At the checkout, I saw Ethan behind me with a basket. My stomach tightened like I got caught. He did not look surprised to see me. He nodded and asked if we needed milk. I said we were fine. He glanced at my cart and said we did not have enough fruit for the kids' lunches. I snapped that he could buy fruit if it mattered so much. He said okay, and put apples on the belt. The cashier smiled at us like we were a normal couple. I hated that too. Normal meant no one would take my side. Outside, Ethan asked where I was going after the store. I said home. He asked if I could be home by 6 for the kids' dinner. I said yes, then I added that he was not my manager. He said he was not trying to manage me. He said he was trying to keep the kids' routine steady. I drove away first. In my mirror, I saw his car behind me for 2 turns. My chest jumped. I told myself he was following me. I told myself I was being tracked. I ignored the fact that we lived in the same neighborhood and the roads were the same. I did not go home. I parked near the co-working cafe and checked my phone. Damian texted again, asking if I was close. I told myself I was doing this for my job. I told myself Ethan pushed me into it by embarrassing me in the office hallway. I told myself I deserved a man who made me feel wanted, not questioned. Inside the cafe, it smelled like coffee and clean wood. People sat with laptops and headphones. I chose a table near the window. Damian arrived and sat fast, like he did not want to be seen. He asked if my husband was still suspicious. I said yes, and I rolled my eyes. I said Ethan was acting like I was his property. Damian said we had to be careful because HR was asking questions about after-hours access. I said HR was overreacting. Damian said it was not HR that scared him. He said it was paper trails. I asked what he meant. Damian said nothing. He said we should keep our meetings in public places for now. He said he did not want drama. The way he said drama made it feel like I was the source, not the victim. I hated him for that, but I smiled and nodded like I agreed. When I left the cafe, I saw Ethan's car across the street near the co-working lounge entrance. My heart slammed. Ethan was not in the driver's seat. I could not see him. For a second I felt a sharp panic, like I was truly being watched. Then I saw him through the glass. He sat at a small table with his laptop open and a stack of papers beside it. He was not looking at me. He was looking at the screen. His hands moved slowly, like he was sorting something. A soft beep came from his phone, and he tapped it once. He did not look up. He did not chase me. He did not run toward me. I told myself he was pretending not to see me. I told myself he was acting innocent to make me look crazy. I did not admit the simpler truth that he could be there for his own reasons. I drove home fast. When I walked in, the house felt different. The counters were clear. The kids' shoes were lined up. There were 2 mugs on opposite sides again. On the hallway landing, I heard a click, like a drawer locking. Ethan came out of the bedroom with a small key on his ring that I had not seen before. I asked what that was. He said it was for a file drawer. I asked why he needed a locked drawer in our house. He said it helped him organize important things. I asked if he was hiding money. He said no. He said he was tracking shared expenses and documents so nothing got lost. I followed him into the office corner. I saw neat folders stacked like steps. I read the labels without meaning to. Household, utilities, bank. The labels were plain and calm. They made me feel exposed. Ethan saw my eyes on them and slid them into the drawer. The lock clicked again. I asked why he was doing this. He asked why it bothered me. I said it bothered me because it looked like preparation. He said planning was not a crime. I said I never said it was. He asked why I kept using words like crime and illegal. I said he was twisting my words. Nora came out of her room and asked if we were fighting again. Ethan lowered his voice and said we were only talking. I said we were not fighting, and I smiled too wide. Nora looked at my smile and then looked at Ethan. She asked if Daddy was sleeping on the couch again. Ethan said he slept where he could rest. He said grown-ups sometimes needed space. Later, when the kids were in bed, Ethan asked for copies of the school contact list and Miles's clinic card. I asked if he was planning to take them away from me. He said no. He said he was planning to be ready for emergencies. I said he was acting like I was unsafe. He said he was acting like a parent. I went upstairs and shut the bedroom door harder than I needed to. I told myself Ethan was doing this to punish me. I told myself he wanted me to beg. I told myself I would not beg. But as I lay in bed, I kept seeing Ethan in that cafe, not chasing me, not yelling, just working with calm hands. And I kept hearing the small click of the lock, like a quiet door closing in my life. By Friday, I felt like I was living inside a slow trap. The worst part was that Ethan did not chase me. He did not beg. He did not slam doors. He moved through the house like a man who already decided something and was only waiting for the right moment to say it. I hated that. I told myself he was trying to punish me with silence. I told myself he wanted to make me look unstable so he could look like the calm one. I told myself I could not let him win. So I went back to what always worked for me. I tried to make a public story first. That morning, I called my mother, Donna, on speaker while I made breakfast. I kept my voice loud enough for Ethan to hear from the hallway. I said I felt alone in my marriage. I said Ethan acted cold and acted like a supervisor. Donna said he sounded controlling. She asked if he was tracking me. I said he was not violent, but he was obsessive. I chose that word on purpose. I wanted it to stick. Ethan walked into the kitchen and did not react. He put cereal in a bowl for Miles and cut a banana into small slices. He asked Miles if he wanted the blue spoon. Miles nodded. Ethan gave it to him, like this was the only thing that mattered. Donna heard him in the background and asked if he was listening. I said he always listened. I said he loved collecting things like evidence, like we were in court. Ethan didn't look up. He only said, in a flat voice, that he did not want private conflict on speakerphone around the kids. I told Donna he was trying to control my calls. Donna told me to stand my ground. After the call, Ethan asked if we could talk after the kids went to bed. I said yes, but I already knew I would twist it. Ethan asked if I could stop using loaded words like court and evidence. I said I only used them because he acted like that. He said he was trying to keep things clear. I said clarity was just control in a nicer suit. At work, I decided I would lock Damian back in place. I needed him close because he made me feel powerful. I also needed him to stop acting nervous, because his nervousness made me feel like I was the risk. In the office elevator, I stood near him and kept my smile tight. I asked if he was avoiding me. He said he was busy. I said he was always busy, but he still had time before. He asked if HR talked to me. I said yes, but it was nothing. He said it was not nothing. He said building security logs were real and they could be pulled. He asked if my husband knew anyone in the building. I said Ethan was just a jealous man at home, not a man with connections. Damian did not look convinced. I told Damian that Ethan embarrassed me again in front of parents at school. I said Ethan tried to make me look like a bad mother. Damian said I should focus on my family and not drag work into it. The way he said it made my skin prickle. I asked if he was blaming me. He said no. He said he was protecting the team. I heard the real message anyway. I was not special when trouble came. I left the elevator feeling hotter, not from shame, but from anger. I told myself Ethan and Damian were both trying to shrink me. I told myself I would not be shrunk. At lunch, I met Paige at her apartment. I wanted backup. I wanted her to tell me I was right. Paige opened the door with her hair wet, like she was not ready for my storm. She asked what happened now. I said Ethan was organizing folders and locking drawers, like a man who planned to take my life away. Paige sighed and asked if I had cheated. I laughed like she was ridiculous. I said even if I did something small, Ethan's reaction was the real problem. Paige stared at me like she didn't recognize me. She asked if the closet sneeze was truly nobody. I said it was nothing. Paige said it did not sound like nothing. She asked if I understood how it looked. I said people only cared how things looked when they wanted to judge women. Paige said I was making it about gender to dodge reality. I told her she was being disloyal. Paige said loyalty did not mean lying. That word hit me. I told her Ethan was changing, and it scared me. Paige said maybe it should. I asked why she was taking his side. Paige said she was taking the kid's side. She said Nora looked tense. She said Miles cried when I raised my voice. I said kids cried for many reasons. Paige said the reason mattered. I left her place furious. In the car, I sent Tessa a message asking if she could post something supportive again, something about emotional control and insecure husbands. Tessa replied with a thumbs up and said she would do it later. I felt relief, like a hit of sugar. That evening at home, Ethan was in the driveway, loading a small box into his trunk. I asked what it was. He said it was old electronics for recycling. I said he never recycled on a Friday night. He said he had time. I asked where he was going. He said out for an hour. I watched him drive away. The car was pointed toward the street, like it had been ready. When he came back, he carried nothing inside. He washed his hands, then sat at the kitchen table and opened his laptop for a few minutes. When I walked closer, he closed it calmly. The screen went dark. I saw a spreadsheet grid for a second, but no title. I waited until the kids were asleep. Then I started. I asked Ethan what his personal meeting was. He asked why I cared now. I said because he was acting secretive. He said he learned secrecy from watching me. I gasped and said he was accusing me. He said he was describing patterns. I said he was trying to rewrite history to make me the villain. He said he did not need to rewrite anything. I told him he was cold. I told him he was punishing me by sleeping away from me. I told him he had no right to act righteous when he was the one who humiliated me by showing up at my job. Ethan asked why I kept calling it humiliation. He said he came with my lunch bag and jacket. He asked why that was humiliation, unless I had something to hide. I felt trapped again, like I was back in the hallway with the closet door. So I swung harder. I said he was weak. I said he needed to feel like a man by policing me. I said he was jealous of Damian because Damian was confident. I said Ethan had always been small in the ways that counted. I knew it was cruel. I said it anyway because cruelty felt like control. Ethan didn't shout. He didn't insult me back. He sat very still, hands folded, eyes on the table. He asked if I was done. I said no, and I kept going, trying to spark him. That was when he finally looked up. He said he would not fight with me anymore. He said he would not compete with my stories, or my friends, or my family. He said he would handle it properly. The word properly landed like a weight. It did not sound like a threat made in anger. It sounded like a decision already filed inside him. I tried to laugh. I asked if he meant he would report me. Ethan didn't answer that. He only said we would keep things calm for the kids, and we would follow a plan. That night, he didn't sleep in the house. In the morning, when I checked the family tablet for the kids' school app, a small notification popped up in the corner. File uploaded successfully. HR told me to come to the lobby at 10:15. I walked down with a fixed smile, ready to talk my way out. Marcy stood by the glass doors with a man in a neat jacket. He asked if I was Ismene Carroway. I said yes, and asked what this was about. He said he was serving documents. I said it was a mistake and tried to step back, but he stayed polite and held the envelope out until I took it. Ethan was there, a few steps away, hands empty. He did not block me or glare. He asked if I had a safe ride later. I told him he was doing this to embarrass me. He said the papers were not for embarrassment, they were for structure. In the packet, I saw divorce petition and temporary orders. I saw a schedule for the kids starting today. I saw a rule about public posts and talking about each other online. My stomach dropped when I recognized screenshots, my bar video, my messages to Tessa, the timestamps from the building door. Marcy said HR had to place me on leave during the review. She said it was standard. I tried to argue, but my voice sounded thin. People watched. I felt exposed. At the courthouse lobby, a clerk confirmed the temporary orders were active. Ethan thanked her quietly. I looked at the clock and realized pickup was in 2 hours, and the schedule told me where I could stand.